What can you possibly make with a sweet potato, peanuts, and soybeans? Well, George Washington Carver was able to make many things. He was able to create things like ink for cartridges, for printers, and dyes, and even an ointment that helped treat polio when it was arising during this time. George Washington Carver was one of the greatest scientists in his time. You will learn about his youth, his education, and his major accomplishments in life. He was born on January 1864 in Missouri, Dunnville. He was born a slave near the end of the Civil War. He was to a family named the Carvers. This is where he was called Carver. When he was little, about 4 years old, he and his mother and his sister were kidnapped by some Confederate soldiers. The family found his sister after a while, but they never found George and his mom. After a couple of years later, they found them in Kansas. Only George. They could never find his mom. He went back and he stayed on the farm. He was the youngest in his family, and he was too young to work in the field, so he was able to learn to read and write at home, which helped him greatly when he got older. When he was about 12 years old, he went off to college, to public school. He went about 10 miles away from his home, but he was set free. He went to the school at nighttime. It was closed, so he had to stay somewhere. He went into a barn. The next morning, a lady found him sleeping in the barn. She took him in, and he stayed with her for the rest of his school until junior high. When he went to graduate from junior high, he went off to Kansas to go to high school. He went to this high school named Minneapolis High School in Kansas. And the first day he was there, he saw a group of white kids kill a black kid first day. So he left immediately and went to this other school named exactly the same high school. And there he stayed until he graduated. He sent out resumes, applications to many colleges. Finally, he was accepted at Highland College in Highland, Kansas. The first day he got there, they rejected him because he was black. After that, he went off to work in his own farm, about 17 acres. This is where he learned to love, to plant and learn about plants and nature. There, he worked until about 30 years old, and he was finally accepted to go to Simpson College in Indianola, Iowa. There, he could only study art and music, piano. This was because they did not have a science department in the college. His art teacher found that he was very good at drawing plants, and so she asked him if he'd like to go to a different college to study in science, agriculture. He wanted to, so he went off to Iowa State Agriculture College. There he got into science. He got a bachelor's of science in 1894, and then a master in botany and agriculture a couple of years later. There he was the first black student at the college. There, after he got his master's, they asked him if he would want to be a teacher. There he accepted and taught for a couple of years in soil conservation and chemistry. Chemistry is a branch of applied chemistry that is concerned with preparing industrial products from agricultural raw materials. He was also the first black teacher to teach there. After a couple of years, Booker T. Washington asked him if he would want to go to Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institutes for Negroes. Booker T. Washington was the president of the school, and he asked if George would want to be the director of agriculture in this college. He accepted, and he stayed there for the rest of his life. While he was there, he helped many people and taught many students about agriculture and soil application. He created this crop rotation method while he was there, and he taught it to many people out in the South, which helped them greatly in the Depression time. He taught them that they used to grow a lot of cotton for many years, just keep growing cotton. And so this would deplete the nutrients out of the soil. When it did that, the soil would be good enough to plant more crops. So he said if you put peanuts or soybeans or sweet potatoes in every other year, it would put more nutrients into the dirt, which would help grow cotton and more products every year. He taught this to many people for very cheap. He was not wanting to be a rich man. He wanted to help people succeed in life, which is a great thing. He loved God. He was a believer when he was young because his family that he stayed with there taught him about God. Good. There, Carver invented peanut butter, as you like, but he did not patent it because he believed all food products were gifts from God, which is good. He died there at the Institute when he was 74 in 1946. There, he was buried beside Booker T. Washington, his best friend. When he was there, after he was buried, 20 years later, he was accepted into the Hall of Fame, where he's now one of the popular scientists. I admired George because he was a very smart man and loved God. He helped many blacks and whites in the South with their crops. He helped people going. He kept going even through all the obstacles in his life. And his success was not in money, but it was in helping others. Carver is someone I look up to.